Good morning and welcome to my channel. All right, one of my favorite topics is, drum roll please, how to turn everyday expenses into tax write-offs. Okay, now I want everybody to listen to this with discernment. There is a lot of caution that I'm throwing here because this is not an approach that can be approached with a willy-nilly attitude. This approach requires a lot of caution, and let me tell you why. One of the first things a business owner must do when they set up their new business is create a separate business account, checking account, and a credit card if you're so inclined to do. And I do that because there's a little bit more leverage, and that's a whole other topic for another day. However, what you want to make sure that is happening and that you're preventing from happening when you create your business checking account is that you are not commingling. This is an IRS no-no. The business is not you, and you are not your business. You may own your business. You may be employed by your business. You may receive a W-2 distributions from your business. You may be operating your business or working in your business, but you, my friends, are not your business. And this is the word of caution. So listen to this with discerning ears, please, and apply this only to where it makes sense for you. Okay, that was caution. And now here's the fun part. One of the interesting things about tax strategy at our office is that I have found through an exorbitant amount of experience, feedback from clients, and I drink my own Kool-Aid, so my own experience as well, is that the best tax strategies, tax planning situations are ones where you can marry things that you're already doing in your personal life with your business. This is not commingling. Okay, so rewind the first part of the video about not commingling. But this is something where I'm emphasizing that a tax plan is not for the sole purposes of reducing taxes where you can. That's not its sole reason, right? We want to make sure we are providing you with the tools and the knowledge and the IRS documentation where you can utilize certain tax strategies that the IRS provides only if they make sense for you and only if they have a business purpose and only if it's allowed in your business industry and only if it truly makes sense and you can document it and there's substance and matter. Okay? These are very, very important topics because I don't want you to get into the slippery slope of listening and reading about these fads that are going on in the tax planning world right now that just aren't substantiated by what you can actually do within your business. The Augusta strategy is one of those, and that's a completely separate video that I'll share with you another time. But going back to what the best tax strategy is, can you, and you must ask yourself this, can you deduct things that you're already incorporating in your life and in your business as a business expense? So, what does that conversation look like, feel like, taste like, smell like? At the end of the day, we typically do things within our business that we're really good at, or we purchased a great idea and it already operates, but we're also using things personally that substantiate that business. For example, when we travel for continuing education, for different networking events, for communities that support what we're doing and enhancing our business, have you considered that as a write-off? Have you considered documenting your vehicle that you drive every day anyways? whether it's purchased through the business, which is a different set of rules, or purchased by you and you just happen to be using it for business purposes, that has its own set of rules. Are you documenting that? Are you taking advantage of those expenses because those expenses cost you nothing? You're already doing them. You're already traveling to continuing education events. You're already driving in your vehicle. You're already utilizing your cell phone bill and your household utilities and your home office. You're already utilizing these things. You're probably already asking your children to help you with tasks within your business. Okay? I know you're following me on this. You're already going to restaurants and having meals with potential customers or leads or employees or independent contractors or your spouse or yourself, and you're discussing business and making a plan. You're already hosting events at your house, maybe. And if you are, the Augusta strategy might be great for you. So there's things that you're already doing. And the reason I'm belaboring this point is because tax planning costs you time and money. Sometimes it costs an investment, and I call those types of strategies the buy them strategies because you can also buy strategies by investing in certain things. That's a whole different layer that's not applicable to everybody. But what you're already doing at home and you're already incorporating in your lifestyle, that, my friend, is the best strategy. You just didn't maybe realize that you're doing it and you can take advantage of it. For example, when you file your 2025 taxes, the IRS gives you an opportunity to write off 70 cents per mile on your vehicle. Okay, 70 cents per mile for business purposes. That's a significant amount. So let's say you drove 10,000 business miles in 2025 with your vehicle, you can write off $7,000. And $7,000 at a 25% marginal tax rate, that's $1,750 worth of tax savings. That's incredible. That is truly, truly incredible. And this, my friends, is what I call a super amazing tax strategy. You're already contributing to your HSA. Consider contributing the full amount. You can contribute anywhere between $4,000 and $8,000, depending on what tax year you're contributing for. And you can already utilize that as a plan. Okay? You're already playing with your retirement and deferring monies in there or contributing post-tax dollars. Consider making that into a plan. You're already doing it. Okay? If you're already in real estate, right? Consider making yourself from a passive real estate investor to an active real estate investor. If you already have real estate, it's a no-brainer as long as you can substantiate. And that's a whole other video for real estate professionals because the rules are complex. And I always encourage you to speak with your tax professional. But these are things you can be doing today. These are things you can be documenting and recreating your logs, right? For the 2025 tax year before you file your 2025 taxes. And these are things that are going to set you up in 2026 and moving forward so that you are the winner, so that you pay less taxes, so that you increase business cash flow, so that you keep money in your pocket. I don't know what's a better win, right? So, in my mind, as those that have heard me speak before, I want there to be three winners: yourself, the tax advisor, and the universe. If you're doing it for great reasons, great purposes, and you're not trying to circumvent the laws and you're doing everything legitimately, legally, morally, you are doing the right thing. And the code is written for you. The IRS code is written so that you can help yourself. And if you don't know how to help yourself, you can hire a professional to do that. It's not, can I afford it? It's how can I can't, how can I not afford it? I know I just butchered that, and that's okay. For those that know me, I'm a one and done video person and I butcher a lot of sayings, and that's okay. I personally think it's endearing. But I want you to succeed and have all the tools at your fingertips. And being a CPA for more than 2 decades, for being a tax professional, actually tax professional for more than 2 decades, because I'm almost at 2 decades of being a CPA, but not quite there yet. It's only in the last 5 years that I discovered that being a tax strategist and a tax planner is completely different than filing your tax returns. So I want to make you aware of that so that you can bring these conversations to the people that you have on your team. And if you don't have people on your team, then reach out to us. But I want you to utilize this as a tool. And there's so much information out there. And I'll be honest, when I watch some of these other videos, they're edited beautifully. The graphics are amazing. But having a tax strategy and turning your everyday expenses into tax write-offs shouldn't be a dog and pony show. It's not a performance. We need to have real conversations because you are real human beings and I'm a real human being. We all have real businesses and we're all entrepreneurs. And all we want to do is incorporate a better life for ourselves that's financially free, personally free, spiritually free. I mean, that's the trifecta of full freedom, right? And we have to be able to use the, I'm going to say free benefits in air quotes of being a business owner. So when you generate income as a business owner, you are able and allowed to deduct business expenses that were required to generate that income. And those business expenses have to be customary, ordinary, reasonable, and necessary. The acronym is CORN, like corn on the cob. Customary, ordinary, reasonable, and necessary. And I always like pointing out, let's say you're a services firm, you're an attorney, and then there's another business next to you that's a dog grooming business. So how does corn apply? And I use these two extreme examples just to kind of drive a point home. The dog grooming business will be able to write off dog shampoo and grooming brushes, right? And dog toys and dog food, probably, and dog treats, okay? Customary, ordinary, reasonable, and necessary in their environment. The attorney, however, will not be able to write off those things because they're not in the business of grooming dogs. They can't, it's not customary in a legal profession, in a legal business, in a legal services business to be able to write off dog supplies, right? Or dog shampoo. You follow the logic. A lot of this is logical. There's a lot of general business expenses, right? Such as advertising, marketing, banking, travel, office expenses that can be utilized, dues and subscriptions, meals that can be utilized in every single business. But then there's industry specific expenses. And those industry specific expenses are the ones that you really have to apply the corn principle to. Is it customary, ordinary, and reasonable within my business and within my industry to be taking those expenses? Caveat here, kind of going back to why we originally started this video, is how we can take ordinary everyday expenses and turn them into business expenses, right? So the first purpose is to not commingle. So how do we realistically start taking those expenses? The first step is to make sure you're documenting. After you have your business account open, business checking account, business credit card account, you want to make sure you document everything. Don't run business expenses on your personal checking account and then sometimes run them through the business account and then continue moving monies back and forth. Make it a system, okay? Make it a system, and if you need help figuring out what that is, or if you need an income and expense tracker, I'm happy to provide one for you. Just drop down in the comments below tracker, And while I'm in the comments, please like and subscribe to our channel so you can get more information like this. Now, going back to that, how do we document? There's accounting software you can document in. You can document in Excel. You can document in Word. You can document directly in your bank statements. Now, are all of those the most efficient ways to do that? No, but you need to do what's comfortable for you. Make sure you keep your receipts. Make sure you write notes on your receipts. Scan them in to your computer, and bam, now you have an audit-proof documented trail. Okay? Document, document, document. When in doubt, document. Over document. Okay? Make sure you have that. So we have auto worksheets that we provide to all our clients so they can document their travel business expenses, the who, what, where, when, and why of their travel. Okay? We have a home office worksheet to document how you can take advantage of taking some home office deductions. We have a worksheet to document renting out your personal residence to yourself for the Augusta strategy. Document, document, document. The IRS doesn't want you to fail. They want you to pay your fair share of taxes, and they give you the rules to follow. And if you ever get audited, they're essentially just going to go down the line of, hey, did you follow these rules? And if you did, you're going to be on the winning side here. Okay? So don't be afraid to reach out. Make sure you're having these conversations with your tax preparer. And I'm also going to mention, and this is just caution for everybody, if you can't document something and if you can't find a business reason of why you're doing it, especially if it's something you're doing on the personal side as well, meaning if you can't document that you're using your cell phone for business and personal purposes, don't take the expense. The tax savings aren't going to be worth the audit you can potentially have. Okay? So don't do things just because you can. Do things that make sense and that are justified in your business and things that you can actually document. There's so many other everyday expenses, and I'll make sure to create videos, but also drop in the comments anything else that you'd like to hear me talk about or provide clarity on, because there's a lot of great information out there. However, not all the professionals providing the advice are ones that I would personally listen to. And not all of them out there are providing you the full picture. They're providing you a sliver of what you can potentially do. But if you don't look at the surrounding details, you could potentially get yourself in trouble. So I want to make sure you stay out of trouble. All right. I hope you're living life wealthier. I hope you're enjoying this. And I hope this provided you with a little nugget into living life wealthier. And please go ahead and like, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment below. Love you all. Bye.